you ailing? What was the matter?
On Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
I was
drunk?
ailing.
Were you drunk?
And I'll tell you, I'm often drunk. I wasn't then. I'm trying not to be drunk now in this moment. I'm trying to get off that stuff. What is that? What are you tempting me now?
No,
just like that, huh?
This is water. Water.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Water.
I might be ailing at any minute, though. Seriously. Because,
Really?
Yeah, today I got my second shingles vaccine. And the first shingles vaccine, I was fine, and then wham! I was chattering, I was frozen, I was hot and cold. I had to jump in the bathtub to heat up. I was just like out of nowhere. So I went back to the pharmacy today to get the second one, and I said to the guy, so the second one's not so bad, right? And he said, yeah, the second one's exactly the same. And I went, oh. So I'm prepared now.
Was it fever-inducing? That seems to be...
Ish. It was like I was sitting in my office all day working on the show. I got up to walk to the kitchen, and I had bare feet, and the bare feet on the tiles. And it was like all of the coldness of the earth suddenly raced up through my feet and froze me solid. That's what it felt like. And I was, I couldn't, I thought I was going to bite my tongue off because my teeth were, my whole jaw was just, it was wild.
That's like a fever symptom.
Yeah. Well, I went to bed eventually and I woke up in a just soaking wet sheets.
More fever symptoms. Wow.
So
and
I was fine the next day.
And this is from the helpful shingles vaccine.
The helpful shingles vaccine. Now, here's the thing. I never get any side effects from medication, from vaccines, nothing. But this one, and to their credit, they did warn me. They said, yeah, this batch, it turns out it's... I'm like, batch? Well, what do you guys throw? Is it, what's going on? Did you have was there, yeast that got in there and is growing mold? Like, what the hell, man?
Ew. One of my biggest, in terms of income, jobs was for the shingles vaccine, Shingrix.
Shingrix? Are you making that up?
I'm not kidding. Shingrix.
Because that sounds like it could be said by a particular cultural group.
Right away. Boom. Our top three topics: health, ethnic groups, and
And accents. Let's just say accent.
Let's just say accents. So it was a great campaign. I'm no longer doing it. They're still selling the vaccines, but it's not with me. But I have not had the shingles vaccine. I just
you're over 50. What are you doing? Get thee to a vaccinery.
Yeah, I did finally get my. I did finally get my. Colonoscopy. I think we started.
Oh.
That was like episode 1.
Yeah. So you okay.
Yeah,
well,
and the worst part, I think you told me, the worst part of it is the prep. I mean,
yes,
just
yes,
like fire hose. It's and I kept thinking, I'm looking at these two types of laxatives, I guess, that they give you. And I thought, someone has devoted a large part of their life to perfecting this thing that I just took.
Right.
Some company has made millions and millions of dollars, and thank you. I appreciate that. That's a lot. I wouldn't want to do it, but it was just like it's so instantaneous. Like guzzle, 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 and then gurgle. Wow, something's happening.
Yeah, you stay near the bathroom for 12 hours.
Boy, do you ever. And then
I
think very much like the story that you had was I wasn't like challenging them when they wheeled me in and went, okay, lean over, we're going to do this. And I said, give me the good stuff. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to know anything. Oh, no, you won't. And they didn't even make me do the countdown. It was just like,
really?
He goes, okay, it's in. And I went, oh, great. And then I was waking up. That's it. And I was happy.
Yeah, isn't that great afterwards?
I don't want to know. And they found They found I named it. They found a little polyp. So I named him Jackson.
Oh, look at you. Just the cleverness of this show.
Yeah.
All due to you.
Yeah. Oh, I try so hard. Yeah.
A little benign artist in your ass. That's good. That's good. I had one too, actually. I had a couple little guys. They were competing for space, but they were fine. They were not bad ones. I have to go back for another one in July because it's been 5 years.
It's been okay. So
yeah.
Here's the more thrilling point. I'm reading their assessment, and here's the polyp, and it's fine, and we got that out of there. Send it off to the lab. Okay, now here's something you gotta love about the free market American health system. It wasn't even 24 hours, and I got the results back.
Oh, yeah.
On a little app. Yep. And it's like, oh, wow, I don't have to wait and wonder. And, that's pretty... speed is huge in healthcare.
Did I tell you that when I first moved to L.A., I had, I don't know, some uritis, who knew something was going on, and so the doctor sent me to the specialist, to the neuropolist, and so I went in to see the neuromancer, and he said, well, we got to get you in for an MRI, and of course, being Canadian, I thought, oh, okay, so what, like here we go. And he said, here, call this number, and I called the number, and they said, can you come in tomorrow morning? And I went, really? And I went in tomorrow morning, I got it, they were done. They were like, here you go, you have a brain. I was like, oh, that's a nice surprise. So yeah, it blew my Canadian mind. Like, wow, you don't have to wait.
Yeah.
So there are advantages to this system, many disadvantages.
Yes,
but
of course.
Many advantages.
Of course. We have discussed that at length. There's pluses and minuses, but boy, that's a plus. Oh, but here the good news was, I'm reading the diagnosis, and they said, see you in 10 years.
Oh, see, that's good. That's good. Because here's the thing. I've heard that they'll do things like that. They'll say, well, we don't need to do every 5 years unless there's a reason, unless you've got something in the family. But then you also hear, well, they're not finding as much cancer anymore. But then you hear it's because... well, they're also not screening every 5 years. So I'm like,
True.
Frustrating.
Yeah, I have a general. That's my general attitude towards statistics across the board. It's like, so we polled this group, and of course they were. People 20 to 30, and they were smokers, and their diet showed that but if they're smokers, what does that mean? Like, generally, what kind of food they eat, or maybe they don't care about anything else. Anyway, yeah, not very scientific.
I have to admit, as a very heavy ex-smoker, yes, I can corroborate that theory that I did not care at all what I put into my body. Do you know that I was eating nothing but fast food in those days? That's when I first moved to Vancouver.
Really?
And I was 20 pounds overweight, and I didn't even know I was just smoking and drinking. Yeah. And this is a disgusting story that I'm going to now tell in public, where it can live on the internet forever. I ate so much garbage food, so much McDonald's and all that crap. My little pickup truck, because of course I drove a little pickup truck coming from Alberta. Naturally, you have to. It's part of the costume. And my pickup truck was so full of empty McDonald's bags that I had a self-cleaning feature, or what I called a self-cleaning feature. And that was anytime a passenger was in my truck, when they got out, they had no choice, because their feet had no choice but to sweep away the garbage, and I was a self-cleaning feature of the truck. You see, this is who I was.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Wow. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. That's hard to, it was a simpler
time. Good you kicked that habit. That's a good one to get rid of.
Which one?
The junk food. Like the only junk food diet. Yeah, the all junk food diet.
That was awful. That was awful.
For any of you listening at home, don't don't do that.
I'm on this stuff. Did I tell the high triglyceride story? Did I tell you this?
Oh, I don't think so.
This is just recently. Yeah, this is recently. A few weeks ago, I got the old physical, and I just come back from Palm Springs, right?
Okay.
When I saw you.
Yeah.
And of course, I had the physical like the day after the bender, which that's really smart.
Oh, good. Yeah. Your levels are.
Yeah. Well, she said, well, first of all, so I look on I do the blood work, I get the results back, get on the app. What was the term? High panic range was the actual medical term. And I'm like, that doesn't sound professional. What is that?
Get this guy on a gurney.
Yeah. So I went back and I said to the doc, I was like, what? And she said, okay. She said, you didn't fast before you took the blood test, right? I said,
Right.
no. She said, okay, so your triglycerides are supposed to be at about 150. Yours are 1,000. And that's throwing off the whole cholesterol levels. And at triglycerides that high, you could have pancreatitis or something like that. Which I was like, oh my God, do I have it? She said, you'd know if you had it. You'd be doubled over in pain. So she said, the good news is everything else is perfect, but something tells me you've been eating crap and drinking booze for the past 3 days. I'm like,
You're a walking cocktail, sir.
You're a walking cocktail. So anyway, I'm on this stuff now to knock those tries down. But honestly, whatever. I figure if that's all I got wrong with me, because that's what it is, everything else is perfect. Like the liver somehow, my liver is in perfect shape.
I don't believe it.
Hey, medical science is never wrong.
Correct. If there's one thing we know. But,
experts are always right.
In fairness, I mean, to me, that's the definition of science. You're supposed to be changing your mind. You're supposed to be learning things. It's supposed to be fluid.
And not to put this conversation on a tangent we don't go down, but that's also the purpose of politics. You're supposed to be changing your mind. You're supposed to be listening to things. You're supposed to be.
Correct. No, I'm going to stick to it.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. I'm going to cap that by saying, yes, those two things, politics and science, and I'm sure many other things, should be in motion. Like, you should change your mind.
That's a good way of putting it.
Otherwise, it's religion, where there are no changes.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
This is dogma. Done.
Yes.
So, there's my 2 cents on that topic.
There it is.
What were we going to talk about today?
Oh, we've run out of topics. How was your con? You were at a con this weekend? Is that where you were?
I was. And well, I'll tell you that in a second. I'm a little bleary today. Not because of the con, but because I had a session today, and just before the weekend, the internet started just acting up. Like, what the heck is going on with my wired internet, my router?
No.
Like, it was just like stopping. Nothing was streaming, and I'm going, well, okay. And I tried to narrow it down because I have a separate router for the house, and then I'm hardwired for work.
Yeah.
So that it's a pristine signal,
connection,
and none of it was working. So I went, oh, okay, wait a minute. Oh, I think maybe this is an expensive router. It didn't even last a year. But it was like the lights weren't on, and I didn't have the presence of mind to go, I bet there's a hard reset somewhere. I don't know. I just started going, let me pull that out of there. And I put the regular Spectrum router in because I had it laying around. I went, okay, well, at least I'm up and running. But what it meant was I've got to book a Source Connect, which is for Ken. That is our system for connecting to studios with super high quality audio. And I the only time I could get was midnight last night because it's someone in Prague or something, because they're global.
the helpline. Yeah.
Yeah. So I stayed up. It's just like the Murphy's Law of electronics. I also got a new phone because my phone, well, I was going to say it decided to give out. But last week, my pool controls are all on the phone, on an app.
Yeah.
And I turned on the jets, these are seriously first world problems. I realize this. But I turned on the jets, and I went, oh, okay, that's good. I got to get that. Now I'm Norm Macdonald. Now I got to get that there. I got to get the hot tub going. And then I come back, and I'm going to get my little floaty so I can go in the pool first. And then the hot tub will be ready. And I went in the pool, and my phone was in my pocket.
Oh, no.
But then I went, it's fine. I pulled it out like it was seconds. I went, it's not going to be a problem because Apple advertises it's water resistant.
Yeah, resistant.
Yeah, well, it's not.
It's not the same as submerged,
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's splash resistant.
I lost my previous iPhone to a hot tub incident too, because it was the same thing. No, it wasn't the same thing. I was at the hot tub at the house, and I was drinking. Sam Vincent was there with me.
Oh, Sammy.
And I was trying to take a picture of something clever on the phone, and then it's bloop, and that's, that was the end of that.
So I get this new phone, and I got this call at midnight. And I forget that my phone is set to go into sleepy mode at like 11. So no calls come through. And then I went, I missed a call. And then I'm hoping he phones back, and then it's like a good 5 minutes. And 5 minutes, when you're waiting for a tech call and you've got a session the next morning, it's like, no. So all of that together. And then I was so smart. I said, well, in the meantime, I'm going to start transferring over the phone crap from one phone to another. Well, that didn't work as planned. So then my phone wasn't working at all. I could use the phone. Oh, and then Spectrum had this thing where, no, you can't make any adjustments to your router except through an app, through your phone.
Of course.
So it was like Murphy's Law of Electronics. Like all of it went to...
Oh my God. I'm having high levels of anxiety just hearing this story.
Oh, it's horrible. And so then I went, okay, really, I didn't want to use that Spectrum router anyway. So now it's 2 a.m. And I went, okay, I'm gonna hard reset the Asus router, which is this crazy thing. It looks like it's from Alien. And I went, oh, it's working. Okay, I'm set. I'm going to make another attempt early in the morning, and I emailed them. Now, Source Connect was great. They actually responded really quick because they could see I was kind of in the system, and they knew that nothing was working. And we got it sorted out, and I'm fine. So that's...
I got to say, the Source Connect people, that is the best customer service, the best tech service I've ever dealt with.
Yeah.
They are just Johnny on the spot. Boom, boom.
You obviously pay for the service contract thing, like just...
Yeah.
Just look after me,
because
please.
Even if you only need it once, I mean, it's like a lot of things. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Because in those situations, man, oh man, when I was when I was moving out of LA, I was all set up to do a session, and all of a sudden, the internet just died. And I had no explanation. And it was literally an hour before the session. I was like, and this was in the height of pandemic, so nobody's going into studios to do things. That wasn't. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm running downtown Burbank. Turns out the router just gave up the ghost right at that exact moment.
Yeah.
And it was just, oh my God, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare.
Oh, it is. It's the worst. It is the worst because, so many things are on the line. Your professional pride, your professional reputation.
Yeah.
All of it.
And as someone who does exclusively remote now, I mean, not only does my studio have to sound better than every studio in LA, but I can never have a glitch. I can never have a dropout, nothing. Right. Because if I do, I think, oh my God. Just give them any reason not to use me,
Exactly.
Well, his system is substandard, so we're just going to...
I had a thing happen. Tell me, well... It's not going to matter because we may have talked about this, but I'm going to repeat it anyway. I used, I did a bunch of video game stuff, and I use a Sennheiser 416. So it's long. It's.
That's what I'm using right now.
Yeah, I'm using it right now too. And I remember doing this session, and everyone's happy. connected via Source Connect, just strictly for monitoring. I'm actually recording on my end.
Yeah.
And about a week later, I get this note from my agent going, yeah, they have to redo everything. And I went, what? What? Me? No. And I thought, okay, there's got to be a problem. So I fortunately had a relationship with the engineer and like, oh, what's going on? And I said, you didn't hear this when we were recording? He goes, well, no, because I'm really just monitoring for other things. Probably should have been listening a little closer, but anyway. As it turned out, that was my small attempt to deflect. It was all my fault. What had happened was this much I can show everyone, all the millions of people who care about this.
Especially the ones who are actually watching instead of just listening.
So that was probably going to be some interesting noise there. But this is like a pop filter, right? And the mic is, about this long, as you know. Well, before I got smart and put this little Velcro thing on here to just cinch it tight, it was a little loose. So what happened was I had, let's say this is the microphone, and that's the end of the microphone. The thing had slipped down to here.
Okay.
So I was adding another 9 inches of room all around.
No.
And here I'm thinking I'm like this. Yeah, this is
right.
This sounds good today. Yeah. No, because the mic was there.
You couldn't hear it in your own cans?
I was so busy acting, Trevor.
Oh, well, you are such a consummate professional.
And
this is why we shouldn't be focusing on engineering our own sessions. And there's another excuse to not use remote people. Well, you really should be focusing on acting and but if you're remote, you have to be an engineer too. I live in fear of these things.
Yeah. No. I say balderdash to that. I've been a frickin' engineer my whole career.
Yes.
And yes, you are not one of them, but there are many people who should not be self-engineering.
The majority should not.
But not fellas like you and me and James Arnold Taylor with his rack of microphones that he collects.
Yeah.
I'm going to phone him and go, you can only use one at a time.
I do it too. I've got so many microphones. In fact, I've lost some. I don't even know.
Oh no!
Yeah, there's the Rode NT1A that I used for years and years and years when I was in Vancouver to do auditions and stuff. It was here. I know it was here. It was on my desk, so it survived the trip to LA and then to Texas. But now it's gone.
That's a nice mic.
Whoosh. Yeah, it was great.
I have one of those.
Just boom, Kaiser Soze, poof, gone.
I have 4 mics, but two are here and in California, and 2 are in Canada, because I want to have the same mics. And I don't want to have to travel, move them around. But that's not to mock people who love to have different mics. It's just I got an engineer going. Because my other one, the Schoeps, it's a German mic with a really weird, chromy looking thing. He went, hey, is that a different mic? Yeah. Well, let's hear it. It's a bunch of testing and, oh no, that sounds good. But I was worried.
Some of those guys got some crazy radar where they're like, are you half an inch away from the mic now?
Yes.
And this is with the cameras off. And you're like, how do you, are you on a different, did you change your frequency setting? I'm like, wow, look at these people. They're amazing. Yeah.
Well, that's why those are the people that should have those jobs. There's a guy I worked for on a project that I'm bound by an NDA because I'm not allowed to talk about it. But we recorded at Skylark Sound, very close to where you used to live. Yeah. And this guy, that's one of those you must be in the studio things, or you don't you don't get the gig. It's a big one, right? and they want super controlled, and everyone must sound the same, and all of that stuff. And you know, for so much of that, my attitude is poor, because I go, yeah, come on, you know, once it's like quite good, who's gonna, huh? You know, I mean, I know there's always excellent, but you know, quite good is better than a lot of other stuff. Anyway, so, but this guy, geez, I wish I could remember his name. He's a younger guy. And he will come in and make micro adjustments. And I'll see, it's like he'll say to the director, just hang on. And it's always at the beginning of the session, because, you know, someone else has been in there or whatever. And I go, now, I mean, I know I've lost a certain amount of my high frequency hearing, but I don't know what he was hearing. And the director goes, he calls him hound dog. It's like, this guy's,
I was going to say,
hearing is like, it's something else. It's another level. So, I mean, I respect that, because he's, you know, you can kind of tell if someone's making it up. Like, oh, I have to be important, but like, oh, no. Like, and then he's satisfied. He goes, yeah, that was just he was like, and literally it's like a half an inch.
Yeah, you know, for the stuff that we do, normally people that get like that, they're just full of nonsense. Because for the stuff that we do, you can't. I mean, the dynamic range that we do, especially in animation, anyway. It's crazy. It's loud.
Yes.
It's quiet. It's all over the place. You can't control that. I mean, basically, you can ride the sliders, man. You can. That's all you can do is maintain the levels and just keep an eye on the actor to make sure he's not wildly off mic or blowing up or something like that. And with today's post-production tools, you can make. I mean, I remember having that conversation with some engineers at the beginning of the pandemic, and I was like talking to them after the session remotely and going, so, you know, this other actor that we were working with, clearly they're in their bathroom on a, you know, on their iPhone. It was like, wasn't that bad, but it might as well have been. And I'm like, how are you guys gonna? And he said, we got all kinds of stuff now. We just run it through these filters, and it sounds like you guys are in the same room. And I went, whoo, that's good to hear, Pally.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Speaking of tech things, not that, you know, we're gonna lose the 50% of the 6 people that listen to this, but I was put onto a plugin called D-Room.
D-Room.
And it uses artificial intelligence to analyze your file. And I use it all the time when I'm traveling. Like, I used to sweat about being in a hotel room. Because talk about uncontrolled environment, right? There's all sorts of things. And now I'm using these for auditions, not for sessions, because it doesn't do it live on the fly. You have to add it afterwards.
Right.
But I mean, literally, you could be in a bathroom and you put this D-Room thing on it. It analyzes the waveform, and it can tell what's not needed. And it's not like a gate where it's just like, you know, some volume thing, some weird. Yeah. It's very good. Very good. And it's like, I don't know.
I could have used that. I could have used that on my last project for my channel, because we had 4 different lav mics that I had to cut between.
Yeah.
And of course, they're different brands of microphones. We shot it in 4 segments, so every time the placement was different. It was kind of a nightmare. That was James Arnold Taylor helped me with that one. He was able to make all of that fancy stuff work. But that sounds like it would be a great feature.
It's very good. I will. Maybe we'll put a link in the show notes.
Oh, and help sell a product we get no kickbacks for. Look at that.
That's just because we're generous like that.
We're very generous.
No, I always like when someone gives you a good tip and it works out. Like this was from an engineer, and he said, you got to try this," and I did, and it was like, "Oh my God, this is the best thing ever." So now I don't even sweat it. Like, I used to make tents and pillow fort. Like, if I'm doing a session, I will still do that. But like for run of the mill sort of auditions when you're on, off somewhere, I don't even think about it now. I just go, I'm just gonna put that through the old deroomerizer, and have something that's good at the end of the day. Yeah.
When I first moved to Texas, we lived in a hotel for a month, waiting for the house to get ready, and so I had to build out of PVC pipe a booth, and I bought like all these heavy duty moving blankets, and I created like a 3x7 booth.
Yep.
And that was in a hotel room. And I remember I specifically said to the manager, I need to be as high up as possible. And on the other side of the highway or the freeway or whatever, I need to be in the quietest part. And they accommodated, and it was actually great. And that thing I used for sessions. And then when I moved into the house, of course, I hadn't built my booth yet. So I had a month where I was like, and every time I'd go in, and it was brutally hot. Oh my God, it was just, I lost 5 pounds every time I did a session in there. But no one ever said anything to me. No engineer ever said nothing. They were like, no, sounds great. And I'm like,
I've done almost the identical thing. Because I'm cheap. No, check that. I'm frugal. No, check that. I like to be hands-on. That's what it is. That's what it is. No, but there are these commercially available sort of porta booths that are made out of moving blankets and PVC pipe. So I did the same thing, except I got it's called like a mobile change room for like taken to the beach. And it's 4x4, but it folds up. Like there's no putting anything together. So it just kind of accordions together. And everything fits into a giant goalie bag. That's a Canadian reference.
Oh, geez.
You know what a goalie bag is,
sure.
eh? Yeah, so it's like a big frickin' hockey bag, right? And it goes in there, and all the moving blankets go in there. And I went, this, like, in my fantasy, as if I'm David Kay, when I go to Italy for a month, that's what I'm taking, because except for the extraneous noise, like a helicopter or a lawnmower or something like that, the sound within those four walls, as you just talked about, is really good. Like it sounded very good. I did tons of sessions with that thing because same thing. When we were renovating the house in the desert, we rented an Airbnb, and I set it up. I set up my tent in the second bedroom, and it worked like a charm.
Yeah.
So there are ways. Speaking of now I'm on this topic of hands-on. I myself have installed 3 mini split air conditioners in my home. Myself.
How did you do that? That's magic.
It's actually really easy, and I
can't be done.
I told a small lie because you still need an air conditioner
installed.
Yeah, completely. I phoned a guy. You need a qualified air conditioning guy to suck out the air in the lines and like make sure the pressures are right between the outside unit and the inside unit. So when I say I installed it, I did all the wall prep. I did the drilling through the wall. I did the placement of the machine on the outside. I didn't do the wiring, and I didn't do that.
Come on, I mean, that's okay.
But I did all the finicky work that they like to. I mean, that's the stuff that takes hours and hours and hours and hours, and I just didn't feel like paying for it. So
have you joined us in the real world now with AC in your booth finally? Do you finally have that?
No, I do have AC in my booth, and I always did.
I thought you didn't.
No, I do, but I can't use it very. Basically, I have to turn it on and turn it off because it gets a little. It depends on the session. I've had some people go, no, I can't even hear it, and because sometimes it's if it's really tight and low, then they go, oh, what is that? What is that? But if it's like a screamy animation session, it's fine. So I get a little, it's not a properly engineered AC system in the booth, because if I close the door all the way, I can hear it's trying to suck air from here, or it's trying to blow air from sucking and blowing. I don't even know the difference. but it makes whistling noises, sort of like me when I sleep. No, because it's through the door. Something's.
Oh, do you have no intake in there?
I don't have an intake. That's the thing.
Oh, well, that would do it.
Yeah,
that would do it.
Yeah. So it's fine. It's quite comfortable because there's always breaks, right? And then I cool it down a bit, open the door. It's fine. Yeah.
Well, whatever you need to tell yourself, it's fine. As long as you are able to make that work for you.
Yes, it's fine. It's fine. That's why I have to wear these light Aloha shirts because I'm dripping with sweat.
Hi. Anyway, so you did a convention on the weekend.
Oh yes, yeah.
And was it okay?
It was great. It was in Bakersfield, California.
On the streets of Bakersfield.
Oh, I'm so glad you knew that reference. That was Buck Owens, wasn't it?
You're damn right.
Was he the first one that did that?
I think so.
Yeah. That's a Western song.
It sure is.
That's the kind of cowboy music I like. Very friendly people, small convention, lots of activity. You know, it was
what you want.
It was good. It was good, you know, and I only knew one guy there, and he was not a voice actor. His name is Tony Fleeks. He's a comic book artist. Had a big hit about a year ago called Stray Dogs. It's like a graphic novel kind of thing. He's a guy I've known for a long time. So we got to hang out a little bit. Went for Chinese dinner at the Rice Bowl in Bakersfield.
One of the local best, Rice Bowl.
One of the best neon signs around. But like sometimes these underserved communities can be really, really great. Like lots of people come out and they go,
Some of my favorite con experiences were at those tiny little ones because there's so much attention. You know, you don't get lost in the crowd. You don't get lost in the shuffle. It's not a crazy circus.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they actually put some thought into the mix of voice actors because, of course, I'm so self-absorbed. I'm not really paying attention to the other people. But I did notice that, like, there wasn't a whole bunch of people with credits like mine. They were like, it was an anime convention, so they were definitely leaning towards anime, leaning into it hard. But it seemed like everyone was kind of busy, and it was precisely what you just said. It's like, wow, this is great. It's right in our backyard, and people come out and you know, you put
the
on
very
your
first
tap
con
shoes.
I ever did was in Burnaby, on Burnaby Mountain. Yeah,
that's my hometown.
Yeah, and I had no idea what to expect. This is a lifetime ago, obviously. And I remember walking on that campus is it SFU that's up there on Burnaby Mountain?
Yep.
So it was on that campus, and I remember walking up there and seeing a bunch of people walking around with these costumes, and I thought, where the hell am I? Who are these people? Am I in the right place? But I had no idea. I didn't know anything about cons. Nothing.
Oh, wow.
And so my first panel is with David Kay.
Yes.
And this girl, so right after the panel, people immediately come down to the stage and start asking for autographs because this was before the days of, charging for autographs. This was you just did it.
Yeah.
And this girl comes down and she pulls her shirt kind of down to expose the top of her breast. And she says, "Can you do this one? And you do this one." And I thought, where am I? What is this magical place?
Frickin' Burnaby, eh?
Yeah. That was my first convention experience. And I thought, well, I could get used to this. No, it was...
I have never had that happen. Never.
Well, I mean... If you look at the two of us, I suppose.
Oh, stop it!
No, it was clearly because as David was beside me, I was the Igor to his Frankenstein in that moment. So,
I have signed people's bodies, but I've never had a lady want anything
just make
like
the full-on offer. Yeah.
No.
It was
no.
But I haven't done one in so long. I haven't done a convention in literally years. Right before the pandemic, I was set to go to Manchester and Glasgow and all this stuff for these big things. And then it just, something happened in March of 2020. I can't quite put my finger on what it was, but there was something that interrupted that. And that was it. That's the last one I've been to. And so I'm hearing these tales that you speak of these cons, and I think, I remember those.
Yeah.
I remember those.
Wow, that would have been a big one. The that's like the holy grail is to go to conventions like in Europe or somewhere way far away. But on this topic, I did a convention once in Las Vegas. It was the worst. Yeah, it was the worst one I've ever done. Fortunately, they had guarantees.
It wasn't the PonyCon, was it, that we did back in? It wasn't that one.
No, this
Las
was
Pegasus.
This was it was called. Now, if they're going to be listening to this because our listener base is so wide,
yes,
someone will tell someone, and this con will dial in and go, hey. What are you saying? It was the first year. It was. I'll name names. I'm going to name names. It was called Unicon, and it was a unification of many different fandoms. So there was wrestling, there was sports stars, there was comic books, there was animation, there was anime. Because like Vegas, we're going to go big. Except with so much going on. There was no focus or not enough of focus.
Right.
And it was their first year and on and on and on. And it just seemed, and it's Vegas. And I just, to the point that we're pounding away at, it's like there's too much stuff to do in Vegas.
Yeah.
And conventions like that are for local people. Like that's who they're for. It's not like, hey, we're in Vegas, let's go to a convention. That'll be great.
Let's see. It could either be Cirque du Soleil, Caesar's Palace, or an animation convention with sports stars and wrestlers.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So it didn't go very well. The organizers were men of their words, and they stood up and went, okay, learning curve, but because it is still going on. I think it was.
Well, that's good. They made it. They made it to the initial hoop. That's good.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure how they've done since then, but it was that was a case in point.
I can't imagine the kind of dedication and hard work it must take to put one of those things on. And even the ones, like I said, this one in Vegas that we did. Were you at Las Pegasus? I think that's what it was called.
Nope.
It was sort of. From what I understand, which is very little, from what I understand, this was one of the cons that sort of began to cause the edifice of the My Little Pony conventions to start to crumble.
Yeah.
There was all kinds of drama that happened, and people didn't get paid, and it was a total disaster. However, that said, I had a great time. I had a ball. It was one of the funnest conventions I've ever done.
Yeah.
And so I hear about all these terrible cons that I've been at, and I think, huh? Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I had a great time. The people I talk to, the fans I talk to,
sometimes it's what you make of it too. Like I was at a convention recently with I've met 2 Darth Vaders now, and surprisingly they're quite tall.
Well, he's a big imposing figure, typically speaking.
And the first guy was a young Ukrainian guy. I forget what series he performed Darth on, but wow, did he have some stories? Like he was an actor, and he said he made himself sick before actually performing the role because he felt so much pressure and he was starting to live like Darth, and it's like, oh my God,
what does that mean?
I don't know, but let's just say he took it really seriously.
Okay.
I don't know what went into that, but he said he wasn't well, and he's better now. But he was quick to add that. But so that was one guy. But this guy, I'm getting to the point of like attitude at conventions. The second guy that I met, he was, I would have sworn he was from the East End of London, and he was Welsh. And I said, wait a second. Like I know my accents, not that I could do it, but, huh? And he goes, I know. It's Wales. I'm from the area, and he started describing it, and it was basically where it's the edge of Wales, where it borders, England and Scotland, I guess. Mm-hmm. And he says it's one little thing, and he goes, you go 5 miles in either direction, and you're going to get a completely different accent. Plus, my dad was from here, and and because he sounded like this, right? He sounded like this, and he goes, it was slow. It was slow. It's a slow convention, and he goes, every day's a blessing. You take the good with the bad, right? You've had great conventions, incredible crowds, and this one, like we're kind of waving at each other, and he goes, you take the good with the bad. And it's a blessing, isn't it? To do what we do. To do what we do. And I went, know what?
What a wonderful and strange moment of gratitude.
Yeah.
That's something.
And I completely agreed, because whenever I go to an event, my attitude is, you pretty much own me for these 48 hours. What would you like?
Right.
What do you need? I don't want to, it's not like I don't have, as you know, it's not like I don't have the capacity to complain and whine. But, why? I just, one of my running gags whenever I'm in a session is like, oh, come on, I can't work like this. And then follow it up with, God, I want to be that guy sometime. I just, I don't know how, I'm not sure how to be that guy. And it doesn't mean that I haven't been in some sessions, but some people go through life and they're just like, no, that's not good enough. And this is not good enough. And no, I said I needed a break at, 1:15 and it's 1:17. And you go, God, really? Just.
Yeah. I've seen that at cons with certain people who, for legal reasons, shall here remain nameless. But
yes,
we both know who we're talking about. And it's embarrassing to me when I see that, because I'm like, who are you here for? You're clearly not here for the fans. And I got to tell you, for me, it's about the organizers. I always find myself palling up with the organizers and with the security guys that are there to quote unquote protect me from the ravening hordes of fans. I'm always with them. I'm like, hey, you know what? We got half an hour. Let's go to the bar, get a drink. Tell me about your life. Do it. Yeah. And they just think that's the best, and it is the best. I love that stuff. And just hanging out in the green room with the staff, and I love all that stuff. And when I see these holier than thou voice actors that come to these things that think that they're God's gift to conventions or something, and they're making all these, and they're coming in like they're the Duchess of whatever Meghan Markle is.
Duchess of Markle.
Yes, that's right. When they come in thinking that they're all that in a bag of chips, it's embarrassing to me. I just want to kind of go, I want to slap them right in the face and be like, dude, none of us are curing cancer here.
I agree.
None of us are doing anything truly important. This is all just for fun. Why don't you just take yourself a little less seriously for 1 second, please, would you?
I always make a point, or mostly, unless I can't find the promoter, organizer, when I'm leaving, I don't want to know the details, but I always ask, so how was it? How was it? Because you can tell at the beginning of these things, they have a certain number of pre-sales for tickets and VIPs and experiences and stuff, but they don't really know Like it's a lot like our lives, right? You go do something you don't really know. Is this going to be good? And you know, it's the rare show where I see long faces and what did we do? And even with that Vegas experience, like there was generally when they offer you a monetary guarantee, they're pretty confident you're going to hit that and everyone's happy, right?
Yeah.
That's what you do. But hardly anyone hit their guarantee on that show. And it was like there was a lesser group would have been like running for the exits and you wouldn't find them.
Right.
But they were good. They ponied up and, you know, onward, live to fight another day, and they're still going. So,
well, that's good. Maybe they'll invite me to their con one of these days.
Trevor,
if you're listening, people,
we're gonna start.
I'll come.
Okay, so we're gonna start a GoFundMe, and it's gonna be called Get Trevor to Conventions Fund.
That's right.
So even if the conventions don't want you,
I'll still get paid.
You still get paid. And we'll send you, and we'll just go, I'm here. Trevor shows up. They funded me. There was a thing.
I'm not here on my own dime, people.
No,
I'm not here on my own dime.
I'm here to serve, and the people asked, and here I am.
That's right. To strong arm my way into crashing cons.
Yeah.
People are going to be like, who is that? Who is he?
He doesn't have a banner. We'll start another GoFundMe for a banner.
All right. Well, let's get that out on the internet as soon as possible.
Okay.
Get that started.
This was kind of our convention episode.
I guess it was.
A lot of it.
You know, obviously with some medical issues.
That goes without saying. That's the protein. The medical issues are the protein of this podcast. Yes, everything else is like dressing.
That is the true nature of this podcast.
Yeah.
Medical issues with Corlett and Devall.
It was wonderful hearing about your shingles experience, and I think that's probably enough.
Well, I should go now because at any second the chattering could commence.
Yeah, we don't want that.
The feverish chattering could commence, and that would be a hell of a way to end the episode.
Yeah,
to be sure. But
if that happens, text me, and I'll be right over.
Done. Okay, goodbye.
All right, bye.